You're going to start or?
Yep. All right, good morning, everybody. I have Minister Glubish here, who is going to be talking about Bill 20, the Real Estate Amendment Act 2020.
Well, hello, and thank you for joining me. 8 months ago, I stood here to announce that I was bringing forward legislation that would begin to put an end to the dysfunctional governance by the Real Estate Council of Alberta, or RECA. An independent report from KPMG had found that RECA was not providing effective governance and oversight over its own administration or the real estate industry that it regulates. As I said then, quite simply, the Real Estate Council of Alberta had not been fulfilling its mandate and had, in fact, received a failing grade by every measure. I made it clear that it wasn't enough to dismiss the entirety of Council, but that we needed to make further amendments to the Real Estate Act to bring in significant governance reforms so that we could ensure that RECA would never return to such a state of dysfunction. I also made it clear that we would work to develop these governance reforms with various real estate industry organizations whose members are regulated by RECA. And I'm here to say, promise made, promise kept. Bill 20, the Real Estate Amendment Act of 2020, is the next step in the process to reform the governance of RECA and to restore the faith of Albertans and the real estate industry in the real estate regulator. As you may know, RECA is responsible for licensing and regulating residential and commercial real estate agents and brokers, mortgage brokers, real estate appraisers, and property managers across Alberta. Throughout this process, I have engaged extensively with these real estate industry experts from each of these sectors that I just mentioned, as well as from the condo management sector. We may have had the KPMG report to guide us, but given the magnitude of the problems, it was very important to me that we needed to hear directly from those who have been working with the previous council and who would be working with a new one. I wanted them to share with me their concerns and their ideas for how we could make RECA better. Bill 20 reflects their valuable input, and I want to thank them for being a part of this process. If our amendments are approved and this bill is passed, the end result will be a new governance structure that will increase transparency, improve accountability, and ultimately restore good governance to the real estate regulator. The most significant reform I am bringing forward today is to set up 4 industry councils, one for residential real estate, one for commercial real estate brokers and property managers, one for mortgage brokers, and one for residential and condo property managers. These 4 industry councils will oversee their respective industries and would report to the board of directors of RECA. The councils will be responsible for identifying and addressing emerging industry issues, setting standards and rules, and determining licensing and education requirements. Other findings in the report reference significant conflict in interpersonal relationships of the board, poor relationships with industry associations, and a lack of clarity about the role and responsibilities of the chair. Some of these concerns will be addressed by the restructuring I have highlighted here today. Other concerns will be addressed by mandating governance training for both the council members and the board members. We also know that there were many problems with dispute resolutions and hearings, which further contributed to a breakdown in relationships. We are taking action on this as well by requiring that the board establish through bylaw a dispute resolution process. Additionally, we are making changes to disciplinary hearings, beginning by prohibiting board members and industry council members from sitting on a hearing panel or an appeal panel. And instead, these panels will be comprised of public members and industry members. Among other changes, this legislation will require RECA to share or publish documents such as meeting agendas and minutes, as well as to publish compensation levels of their staff. Albertans and the real estate industry members deserve this level of transparency from their regulator. Governance reform does not happen overnight, especially reforms of this magnitude in the wake of significant dysfunction. Fortunately, our work began back in October with the firing of the council, and since that time I have been working very closely with the real estate industry to better understand the challenges they faced under the previous council. It was important that the day-to-day business of the regulator continued while we worked together to bring forward these significant governance reforms. And I want to thank Dwayne Monia for his work as administrator of RECA during this time. I am sensitive to the fact that these changes are coming forward as we continue to work through the COVID-19 pandemic. As we continue to work towards a phased relaunch of the Alberta economy, I am mindful of the significant economic contributions of the real estate industry. For Alberta's economy to thrive, we will need a strong real estate industry, and I am confident that these actions proposed in Bill 20 will ensure that the real estate professionals, industry associations, and Albertans will be able to trust and count on RECA for good governance of the real estate industry for many years to come. And with that, I'm happy to take your questions.
Thank you. So what we will do is, if you have a question, you can have one question, one follow-up. Operator, do we have any questions? Operator, can you put through the folks
I had
first?
myself on mute. We don't have anyone in the queue right now. If they'd like to join, please press *1. All right, it appears there are no questions at this time.
All right. In that case, thank you very much.
Thank you.